genuinely wanting the community to do better, and somehow that got morphed into I can't make money off of YouTube like I want to. So that means the natural hair movement is going downhill. That means hello, welcome back to another episode of Detangle with me, where I stand up and detangle my hair while I talk about something interesting to me or other people, but mostly me. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the movement to divest from the natural hair community that's kind of got started last year. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely stay tuned to the whole video. And if you like product reviews, natural hair tutorials, and content like this, definitely make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my uploads. And now that you have done that, we can get into this video. Like always, my pre-poo routine and the oils that I use and the essential oils that I use will be linked down in the description, so check that out if you want to know more. So if you don't know by now, which I'm sure you do, but if you don't know by now, a YouTuber by the name of NappyHeadedJojoba posted a video last summer basically detailing why leaving the natural hair community 3 years ago was the best thing for her and her mental health. And basically from that video, she opened a Pandora's box, and all these other YouTubers either made reaction videos agreeing with her about some of the things that she brings up in her original video, or they made their own video about why they're divesting from the natural hair community. Basically, there are some issues within the natural hair community that need to be talked about, and she just opened up that portal with her video. Now, I took the liberty of watching a couple videos for this video, and when I say a couple, I mean like 20 plus videos. And I basically tallied up some of the common themes, common threads, common statements made in people's videos that I feel like should be discussed, and we can discuss them a little later. I'm gonna read off the top statements, and to be a top statement, basically you had to get 5 or more tallies. So at 10 tallies, natural hair is redundant. Not me, but the person who's speaking, I have done every twist out, braid out there is to do, bored with content. So that got 10 tallies. 9 tallies, looser curl patterns are pushed in the algorithm, basically saying that, this is my parentheses, but basically saying that like because looser curl texture people are being pushed in the algorithm, that like non-looser curl texture people can't succeed in YouTube, so that's why they're divesting. My lips are chapped. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. This is at 8 tallies. You have to do a gimmick to go viral. It's hard to stay relevant or get views without doing gimmicks. 7 tallies. People are more likely to watch content or click on videos of someone who has hair the viewer wished they had. 6 tallies. Type 4, specifically 4C hair, women don't get the same views as people with looser curl textures. 5, this is 5 tallies. Not seeing 4C women on social media or YouTube, another 5 tally. A couple of faces represent everybody on this platform. A few content creators are being pushed to the front. They said some variation of that. Another 5 tally. If they do show 4C hair, they usually have long hair, short type 4 hair isn't celebrated. And the last 5 tally is a lot of work for a little return. So those are the top 10 reasons why a lot of content creators, at least the ones that I watched, felt like they didn't want to make natural hair content anymore. And oddly enough, leaving the natural hair community is also associated with the decline of the natural hair movement. To be kind of honest, I'm surprised hair Nazis wasn't higher on the list as to why people were leaving the natural hair community. Like, it was on there, but not too many people said that, which I thought was interesting. Now, if you haven't checked out her video, definitely do that before you continue. So I can link that above or below if you want. Definitely check that video out and then come back to my video so we can discuss further. The biggest takeaway that I got from watching many of these YouTube videos is that many YouTubers feel that because of texturism, they don't really want to make natural hair content anymore, or being like bored with the content, or feeling that the natural hair movement was more poppin' like 5 or 6 years ago, and because it's not poppin' anymore, they don't really want to make content anymore, or they just feel like making natural hair content isn't worth the hassle as it once was. Not once was, but like natural hair content isn't worth the hassle anymore, as like their reasons why they are divesting or not wanting to make natural hair content. Now, I just want to preface that if making natural hair content is negatively affecting you or your mental health, please don't continue to make it. And I'm also not saying that if you started off as a natural hair YouTuber and you no longer want to make that type of content, that is fine too. I don't have an issue with either of those two things. I just want to preface that. And please just let me explain my point before you try to come for my life, okay? Okay, great, thank you. Now, I do want to say that I'm not disagreeing with the fact that the natural hair movement isn't a fad and isn't losing or slowly losing popularity over time, as most fads do. I'm not gonna lie, once upon a time, you probably could just make a natural hair video and not have to do much else other than make a natural hair video and get views and get a lot of likes or get a lot of following, because like a lot of people were looking for it and there weren't as many YouTubers out there providing that information. And basically because like a lot of people were searching for it, and the market wasn't saturated yet, a lot of people started natural hair channels regardless if they had an interest in it or not, strictly because of how popular it was. And the market over time became extremely saturated because of that. And because the market is so saturated, it's going to take more energy and more time to get noticed, because there's greater competition. Instead of competing against like 5 other YouTubers, you're now competing against thousands. Like, yes, that's extremely hard to overcome. Maybe because of this, like doing gimmicks is like does well because like it sets you apart from everybody else because you're doing something that nobody else is doing, and so that gimmick becomes a fad. Or like if you naturally have long hair or some type of, you know, unique desirable trait or feature or characteristic, you're gonna have advantage over other people, is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think there's less interest in natural hair content. I just think there's more people making natural hair content. People are attributing that difficulty to curly girls getting into the natural hair movement, or people losing curl textures being favored by the algorithm. Okay, so I can't specifically speak on other social media sites, but I do, for YouTube specifically, I do think it's kind of unfair to completely blame Texturism for why your natural hair content isn't blowing up. Yes, people who have long hair and people who have curly hair and people who have looser texture hair and people who have high porosity or middle porosity hair do have an advantage. Definitely, they 100% do. What I'm more so saying is just because they have that advantage doesn't mean that it's impossible for a type 4 or 4C or short 4C hair people to also go viral, also have a large following, and things like that. It will take more work, it will take a lot more creativity, it will take a lot more effort than someone who has like a natural advantage. Yeah, it does. But to say it's completely impossible, I don't think that's necessarily a fair statement. And if you don't want to do that work, that's fine. Like, I don't think that's a problem. Like, if you don't want to do the utmost in order to get views or to, you know, go viral or get more of a following, and you just want to continue in the same way that you're going, like, that is fine. But I don't think it's fair to say that like other people can't achieve that if they put in effort, or that like the entire natural hair movement is going downhill because you can't or don't want to do that work. Like, I have TubeBuddy, and it is wild. It's actually insane how important thumbnails, titles, and descriptions are, more than like the actual content of the video, at least on YouTube. I can't speak on social media sites, other social media sites like Instagram. I can't really speak to that because I really don't understand how Instagram's algorithm works. But for YouTube specifically, it's insane. And because of like how saturated the market is, you have to like, at least that's what I'm noticing, you have to like work twice as hard to figure out like tags to do or thumbnails or you know, descriptions aren't that hard, but like, yeah, you have to work twice as hard to get those things and to actually find a keyword that you would do well in, show up in, things like that. So yeah, stop blaming people for not watching their own textured hair, because I really do think they are watching their own textured hair. I don't think that narrative of people are watching textures that they want to have is 100% true. Like, yes, again, yes, there are people who do that. There are. But is that group of people significant to make that much of a difference in your YouTube success? And that kind of like brings me to my next point. Like, this one I strongly disagree. Like the other ones, it's like I disagree, but if you give me more information that disproves my point, then I'll go with it. But this point specifically, I strongly disagree with the idea that nobody's searching for 4C, type 4 or 4C hair content. Because if that was true, if that was a true statement, then the idea that like content creators who don't have 4C hair, who have looser curl texture hair, purposely putting 4C in their title to get more views wouldn't be true either. Like that wouldn't make any sense. Like why would people use a tag, especially a tag that doesn't represent them in any way, shape, form, or capacity to get more views if that tag didn't have a high search volume and a low competition rate? Like that doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. Like how can you say that nobody's looking for this and then people who don't have this hair type are using this tag to get more views? That doesn't make sense. Please let this idea go. People are searching for type 4 hair content and people are searching for type 4C hair content. So if your 4C hair content is not doing well, change up your tags. I don't know. Use better descriptions. Try something different for your thumbnail. Something. Okay, and this just kind of brings me to my last point. I really didn't like how all the videos basically had an undertone of, because the natural hair movement is no longer a fad or no longer extremely popular on YouTube or Instagram, because it's definitely popular on TikTok, but that's not the point of this. But basically because natural hair movement is no longer as popular on YouTube as it was 5 or 6 years ago, that it means the entirety of the natural hair movement is coming to an end. Like, because people can't profit off of the natural hair movement like they used to 5 or 6 years ago, the entirety of the natural hair movement is coming to an end. Because a couple, maybe like 20 or so, or 50 or so content creators out of thousands of natural hair content creators no longer want to make natural hair content, it means the entirety of the natural hair movement is coming to an end. Never mind, young black girls are no longer getting perms at the same rate as it was about 10 to 15 years ago. That doesn't matter. Or the fact that legislation like the Crowns Act that started in like 2019 is being passed at the state level that protects black women from hair discrimination or black hair discrimination. That doesn't matter. Or the fact that natural hair products and resources are made available to us in rates or ways that weren't a thing 10, 15 years ago. None of that matters. None of it. Just the fact that a couple of YouTubers can't make money off of the natural hair movement like they used to. The entire movement is over. Cool. I do want to preface that NappyHeadedJojoba's video, or original video, kind of was more focused on how the movement wasn't as progressive as she wanted it to be. And like, yeah, like those points definitely valid. Those points definitely should be, taken seriously. And we, as a community that I want to be a part of, I don't know if I'm actually a part of, but I'm just gonna say that I'm a part of it. As a community, definitely needs to work on and definitely needs to think critically about. I'm not disagreeing with that. That is definitely true. But coming from a place of genuinely wanting the community to do better, and somehow that got morphed into, I can't make money off of YouTube like I want to. So that means the natural hair movement is going downhill. That means that the natural hair community is no longer a community I want to be a part of. Like, it just, I was just so irritated watching all these videos. And like another thing that I just want to point out, that the search volume for divesting, well, not really divesting, but the search volume from natural hair community is toxic, natural community rant, natural community, or I'm leaving the natural hair community, and all these other type of tags actually have a very high search volume. They're low-key kind of a fad. They might not be as much of a fad right now of January in 2021 as it was probably October 2020, sure, but it still has a high search volume, and that's why people are making these type of videos. Not because they wholeheartedly, why am I holding this so hard? Not because people or content creators wholeheartedly agree with what NappyHeadedJojoba was saying, but more so as a way to vent about their own YouTube struggles. Which, I mean, vent about your own YouTube struggles, but don't attach your venting to why or why not an entire movement that has more to do than just YouTube is going downhill. Like, I don't understand. Like, why bring more negativity than you need to? And I just and that's why I wanted to make this video. That is why I waited this long to make this video, because I just really wanted to see how it would turn out. Yeah, my camera shut off for some reason, and I just finished detangling off camera. But but basically that's all I really had to say, was just kind of bringing up the fact that, like, low-key, a lot of what people are saying sounds more just like, I can't make money off of this, so I don't want to do it anymore, and not really more like, hey, as a community, we should grow in these areas. So anyways, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you feel like this tangent was unnecessary and you're just trying to push an agenda? Or am I really touching on something that's really happening in the world? Let me know in the comment section. Yeah, thank you for listening to a person who only has 170 subscribers. I love y'all though. Thank you for the support. But, you know, I only have 171 subscribers. So who am I to critique larger content creators about what they think about the natural hair community? Anyways, that's all I have for today. See you guys in my next video, where I am doing a wash day and I'm doing a product review. So definitely watch out for that video. It'll probably come out after this video. Yes, it'll come out after this video on Friday. So definitely stay tuned to that, and see you guys on Friday. Bye.